Hello and welcome to the Cinematic Conversation YouTube channel, the YouTube channel where we review and discuss all of our favourite pieces of cinema and television. I'm Theo Parrott and today I'm going to be reviewing a documentary called At the Heart of Gold: Inside the USA Gymnastics Scandal. Now, before I get into what the documentary is actually about and I give my review on it, I'm going to state that the cultural focus for this review is going to be gender and more specifically women in sport. And just before I begin, the documentary that I'm reviewing is a documentary that recounts a true story that is of disturbing nature, so just a warning. Now, there are a number of films, series and documentaries which provide important insight into women's empowerment through the means of sport. This can either be made-up stories or real-life events that both captivate the audience watching as well as inspire young girls to follow their dreams, whether that be through playing a sport or doing anything else with their lives. However, in this specific example, the story that's being told is in fact true, and it's a particularly inspiring one for many different reasons. The main reason being that the documentary showcases the bravery of young female gymnasts who spoke out against their perpetrator and stood up for hundreds of other young girls. At the Heart of Gold is a documentary that was released in 2019 and was directed by Erin Lee Carr. The documentary delves into the shocking sexual abuse scandal involving former USA Gymnastics team doctor Larry Nassar. The documentary provides a comprehensive overview of the abuse perpetrated by Nassar over many years, as well as the institutional failures that allowed it to continue unchecked. Nassar, who was a renowned sports physician, used his position of authority to sexually abuse hundreds of young female gymnasts under the guise of medical treatment. One of the features that I believe makes this documentary so good is that it actually features interviews with survivors of Nassar's abuse. Some of these include several prominent former gymnasts such as Ali Raisman, Michaela Maroney and Simone Biles. Now, these gymnasts all came out, they survived the incident and they came out on camera and courageously shared their stories, which shows such bravery. And then they helped shed light on the trauma that they endured and the emotional toll it took not only on their career, but on their lives in general. Not only does the documentary feature interviews with survivors of Nassar's abuse, but another key element of it is examining the systemic failures within USA Gymnastics and Michigan State University, which is where Nassar was employed, that enabled his abuse to persist for so long. The doc explores how the culture of silence, institutional cover-ups and negligence allowed Nassar to evade accountability and essentially continue abusing the young athletes. However, it wasn't all USA Gymnastics and Michigan State University's fault. A sly character like this, a very respected person in the community by everyone, a highly rated physician and doctor. He was trusted, but essentially he was a sheep in wolf's clothing. He exploited the trust of colleagues, athletes, children, parents, all of them, just to get away with his horrendous acts. It wasn't actually until 2016 when former gymnast Rachel Denhollander came out and revealed that he was a sexual predator. Now, once Rachel had the courage to come out and do this, hundreds of others did the exact same, and they followed in her footsteps and they exposed him for who he really was. Now, although you could look at USA Gymnastics and Michigan State University, the two places that Nassar worked, and look and say, how have you not caught on to this? Why are you still employing him? But when a man's like this and does the things that he did to these young female athletes, is very difficult. It doesn't look obvious, and I think in this case especially, the way that he went about it, being a respected physician, really did mask well what he was really about, and the things that he did to them, such as molesting them using his trademark maneuver involving vaginal penetration, which he claimed was a medical procedure. Following on from all the athletes coming out, a gigantic child porn stash was found in his possessions. All of this culminated in a 2018 court case in which victims of his read out and stated exactly what he had done to them in front of the whole court and to his face. This documentary is very moving as it brings the defiance and the bravery of all these athletes to life, and to show the world really how horrible this man was and what they had to suffer through. Through powerful testimonies from the athletes themselves and archival footage, At the Heart of Gold, it exposes the devastating impact of Nassar's crimes on the victims and their families, as well as the urgent need for accountability and reform within the world of amateur sports. The documentary serves as a call really to action to prevent similar abuses from occurring in the future, and then to try and prioritise the safety and well-being of the athletes above anything else.